What's the easiest asset class to get started in? I'm Tim Diesel, I'm a commercial real estate consultant, and today we want to talk about the easiest class to get started in. If you are beginning, if you are new, there is still time for you. It's never too late. I know a lot of times I'll hear people say, oh, I missed the window 4 or 5 years ago. That's absolutely not true. You can get started anytime you want. There's always sellers, and there's always buyers, and there's always opportunity. And the biggest thing I want you to keep in mind is you don't know everyone's situation, right? There could be, they could be going through a number of things. I remember I got a property one time from an estate attorney, a divorce attorney, and the couple was going through a divorce. Property had a lot of equity, a lot of juice to it, and they just wanted to get rid of it. Now I couldn't buy it. I had to turn it over to another investor at the time. It just worked out that they had to get out. And many other times there's a trust. One of the parties dies on the trust. Maybe there's 3 of them, and one guy owns more percentage and he really wanted to keep it, and the other 2 are like, we're out. So you really don't know everyone's situation. It can change instantly. To you as the buyer, you're looking at the biggest opportunity ever. To the seller, maybe they've made their money. Maybe this isn't their primary investment. So don't ever lose hope, I should say, because if you just keep looking, those opportunities will come. You're not going to keep doing this forever and ever and ever and not find a property if you're using the proper strategies. So the easiest class to get started in is not apartment buildings. I know everybody thinks it's apartments. I'll start with a 4-unit, go up to 8. That's absolutely not true. Apartments are really tough because the competition is much higher. See, it's much greater. If you were to look for someone helping you in the real estate field, gurus or whatnot, they're all teaching apartments. And the average bear, the average person would want to get into apartments because it's easier to understand, right? Maybe they've lived in them, whatever the case is. So that's going to be a little tougher. In my opinion, the easiest asset class is always going to be retail. Retail properties are by far the easiest class to get into. And I'll break it down a little bit. So in an industrial property, it's tougher because a lot of times there's one tenant. So you can get a great deal on a vacant building, but if you're new, I don't advise that because you're not going to know how to market it. You're not going to know who to talk to. You could get lucky and link up with an SIOR broker. That's their designation. And they might have a handful of clients that want a property or whatever the case is. Even in a medical building or some kind of office building, those are a little tougher. But in a retail environment, retail building, it's much easier. So if even if it's a small one, I talk about this all the time. If it's a 5 bay, it's much easier sometimes because if it's less than 80% occupied, it's very tough to get bank financing. So it's very easy to open up the conversation of owner financing. The tenants are there longer. The leases run, right, 3 to 5 years and so on. Your management is much less. They usually take care of a lot of their own stuff. And you don't have so many people looking for them. And that's going to be a huge advantage. A lot of the syndications, a lot of the big outfits, there is some looking for retail, but most of them are not. They're looking for apartments, and that's usually where they're going to look. So I would definitely say learn more about it. I'm not saying go out there and start buying this stuff. Learn more about it. Talk to some of these sellers, even if they're not selling. Talk to them about their experience, how long they've owned it, what it is they do on the day-to-day. It's definitely one that I think is going to be huge opportunity. There's going to be huge opportunities coming up. So yeah, definitely don't be discouraged if you're only looking at apartments and you haven't found anything in a year. Don't let that slow you down. There's other asset classes, there's other ways to make money in commercial real estate. There always has been. So if you have any questions on that, please let me know and I'll be glad to answer them.